Have you ever felt like you're giving your all but it's just not enough? Like your efforts are going unnoticed, maybe even by God? If so, you're not alone. The people in Prophet Malachi's time felt the exact same way. Let's dive into the story of the last prophet of the Old Testament and see what we can learn from his powerful message. Picture this. It's around 430 BC. The Jewish people have returned to Jerusalem after a long, painful exile in Babylon. They've rebuilt the temple and they're trying to get their lives and their nation back on track. You'd think everyone would be filled with gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose, right? Well, not exactly. A sense of spiritual apathy had crept in. The initial excitement had faded, replaced by a kind of cynical weariness. They were going through the motions of their faith, but their hearts weren't in it. The priests, who were supposed to be the spiritual leaders, were offering blemished, second-rate animals for sacrifice, the kind they wouldn't dare give to their own governor. It was a sign of deep disrespect. They were essentially telling God, "You're not our priority, you get the leftovers." This is where Malachi steps onto the scene. His name means "my messenger," and that's exactly what he was. A messenger from God with a crucial wake-up call. Malachi's message wasn't delivered with a gentle whisper. It was a series of sharp, direct confrontations. The book actually reads like a courtroom drama, a series of 6 disputes between God and his people. God starts by saying, "I have loved you." And the people's response? It's shockingly cynical. "How have you loved us?" They were looking at their struggles, their less-than-glorious reality, and questioning God's affection. God reminds them of his foundational covenant, choosing them and setting them apart. But their hearts had grown cold and forgetful. Then Malachi gets specific. He calls out the priests for their corrupt sacrifices and for failing to teach the people properly. He confronts the men who were divorcing the wives of their youth to marry foreign women, breaking the sacred covenant of marriage. This wasn't just a social issue, it was a spiritual one. Their unfaithfulness to their families mirrored their unfaithfulness to God. One of the most famous parts of Malachi's message deals with tithes and offerings. The people were withholding their tithes, the 10% they were supposed to bring to the temple to support the priests and the work of the ministry. They were essentially robbing God. And they had the audacity to ask, "How are we robbing you?" God's response is both a challenge and a promise. He says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and test me now in this. See if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." This isn't about a transactional relationship where we give to get. It's about trust. It's about putting God first and trusting that He will provide. It's a call to reorient their priorities and honor God with their best, not their leftovers. Through all this rebuke, there's an incredible thread of hope. Malachi doesn't just point out their failures. He points toward a future restoration. He speaks of a day when God will send His messenger to prepare the way. This is the prophecy that Christians see fulfilled in John the Baptist, who prepared the way for Jesus. Malachi ends his book with a beautiful promise. He says that for those who revere God's name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings. He speaks of a day of judgment for the wicked, but a day of victory and joy for the faithful. He promises that God is keeping a scroll of remembrance for those who honor Him. A comforting thought that no act of faithfulness, no matter how small, goes unnoticed. The book of Malachi closes the Old Testament, and for 400 years after, there was silence. No prophets, no new word from God. Malachi's final words hang in the air, a powerful cliffhanger leading right into the New Testament. His message is a timeless call to examine our own hearts. Are we giving God our best, or just our leftovers? Are we living with passion and integrity, or have we fallen into apathy? Malachi reminds us that God is watching, He cares deeply, and He's calling us back to a wholehearted relationship with Him. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the book of Malachi. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our faith. See you in the next one.